Om. Sit upright and relax. Keep a smile on the lips. I look at myself, namely, with the consciousness. Consciousness is nothing but the content of consciousness. And if there is hatred towards anyone or ill will in that content of consciousness, I have to understand that it is a major irritant. While keeping that irritant in the consciousness, meditation has no value. This I have to recognize. The idea is not to condemn oneself, but the ill will or the hatred is an irritant, and that has to be acknowledged. Without that acknowledgement, there is no way to grow into God consciousness. I wish as may I be well, happy, and peaceful. That is the expression, well, happy, and peaceful. That is the wish. It begins with myself. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. Then extend this message of love to the family members, specifically with names 1, 2, 3, 4. You may add 2 more if you wish. May these members of immediate family be well. Happy and peaceful. That is the wish. This is the message of love. I am sending out the message of love. May these immediate family members be well, happy and peaceful. Then further extend to all those people known to me, relatives, friends, etc., and people at the workplace. These are the people whom I know in life, all of them. Many of them I like, but some of them I may even dislike. But the message of love is same for all of these people. May all these people be well, happy and peaceful. You try to be sincere as far as possible. Try to be sincere. Don't allow it to become a stale thought. Put some feeling into it. Convert it into a message of love, not some empty words. You can do that easily. May these people be well, happy and peaceful. Now we extend to the entire humanity, the 8 billion people all over the globe, irrespective of caste, creed, race, religion, and gender. Try. There could be some inhibitions in the mind about gender, about caste, about religion in particular. Try to rise above all that. Rise above all that. Try to be sincere and send the message of love to the entire humanity, wherever they are, whatever they are. May the entire humanity be well. happy, unpeaceful. Now visualize the animals that roam the earth in forests, in towns and villages, all kinds of animals. And visualize the birds in flight, their nests. And all creatures, small and big, on the surface of the earth and below the surface of the earth. This enormous variety of life forms. The fish, etc., in the water, underneath the water. All this life. Send a message of love to all these life forms. May all these life forms be well, happy, and peaceful. Message of love to all life in this creation. This converts you into a messenger of love. I am the messenger of love. Now, think of those people whom you hate, but if you cannot call it hate, you have ill will towards whom. Recollect those people, name them specifically, the one person, the second one, the third one, the fourth. They might have wronged you. They might be bad people also. Some of them are nasty, even villain. Some of them are not at all likable. These people, 4 or 5 or 6, in fact, you may see when you think of them, there is a small ache in the heart, a small dissatisfaction maybe, certainly a small disturbance. That is also part of the meditation. recollect these people, keep them in focus. And now send the message of love to them. Even if it is difficult, yet we do it. May these people whatever be the past, may these people be well, happy, and peaceful. That is spirituality, that you can wish well to these nasty guys, bad guys. May these people be well, happy, and peaceful. Finally, may I be happy and peaceful. Om. Relax. Sit at ease and relax. Slowly open the eyes. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shruti Smruti Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Tāvatsatyaṃ jagadbhāti śuktikārajataṃ yathā Yāvanna jñāyate brahma sarvādhiṣṭhānamadvayam. Before we take up that verse, I look at this issue of attachment. Because I have a question pending with me. It is about a mother's attachment to the son. We discussed it in some detail. It appears like mother's love for the son. That is how it is popular in the society. And if I substitute the word love with attachment, some of the mothers may grudge it also. It is very possible, but it is attachment only. And you see, in families where the mother is illiterate, has more children than one or two. Earlier generation, they used to have 5, 6 children, or even more sometimes. And their economic situation is not extremely great. They are lower middle class people or even poor people. They don't have this issue of attachment. Interesting, Means they are busy with life and don't have so much time for attachment, for sentimentality and all that. Life is a big teacher. Life engages them fully and they have to work hard to make both ends meet, and they have to go through a variety of vicissitudes of life. And therefore, there is not much time left for the finer sentiments and emotions like attachment to the son, etc. When people are in middle class or higher middle class, more than middle class, and especially in advanced societies like Europe and America, etc., and people coming from India to here, this attachment seems to be very acute and sometimes very disabling also. I don't want to say debilitating, but it disables the mother, the father. You can see that dysfunction caused by this attachment. And the question is about that only. The difficulty that the son is going through in a given situation is not such an enormous misfortune. It is certainly a disadvantage, a discomfort, an illness, and so it certainly hampers the progress that we expect from the children. The mothers and fathers expect from their children very enormous progress. Suddenly now they have to become the chief of Amazon or something like that. They have to become. I'm using some extreme example. So the children have to come up very quickly to a very high position and a lot of expectations. But people forget the fact that what you expect will not happen. What you do not anticipate will certainly happen. This is how the life is. And you tell yourself that this much, what we expect may not happen, will not happen generally. And what you do not expect will certainly happen. If you tell this to yourself, that gives you a kind of strength, what we call a bulwark to the adverse situations that the life throws at you. Therefore, you should have that emotional strength to absorb some of these misfortunes as and when they happen. But the misfortune has not even happened. It may happen and then you get disturbed. That is also possible. That is even more difficult to, even more, it comes under a more acute attachment. So these are all issues that are there. Then how to overcome this attachment? First, we are examining it in its various forms, in how many ways you encounter it in the society, among people, our people only, and some of those things are with us also. It is like that. So, how to handle this attachment? But first, let me tell you, it is ubiquitous. It is everywhere. It is in all societies, more so among Indian parents who do well in this country, who came to this country, and they are doing well. Whereas if you go back to India, many Indian parents, they don't have many, they are not very well-to-do people, very simple people, lower middle class, struggling with many children. They don't have these problems. Whereas when they go up the economic ladder, have less children, one or two, and have good means, have all the blessings that the modern economy can give, all the benefits of the modern economy, having all these things, they have more problem of attachment. This I already said. So, but then it is there. It is there. I am not trying to condemn it. We are not. It is not something to be condemned. It is to be only acknowledged. But you should acknowledge it though. Sometimes, even if you don't want even to acknowledge it, that is not proper. You have to acknowledge. This is nothing to do with love. Love is different. Love is divine. This is very much a samsara thing, this attachment. I'm not trying to denigrate it or disparage it. I'm only trying to explain it in a way you will be able to acknowledge it. That is the purpose I am having. So we acknowledge it. It is there. No, after listening to so much Vedanta, even then it is there. And I tell you, this is the toughest thing to overcome in spite of our Vedanta, this attachment. Especially attachment to the children, to the near and dear, to the kith and kin. That attachment is the most difficult to overcome. Especially the parental attachment is the toughest, very tough nut to crack. First you should acknowledge it, understand it that way. So that should make you feel good. At least you are not so bad as you may imagine. In spite of so much Vedanta, why I am like this, you may not want to condemn yourself. It is everywhere, no exception. Except those examples which I have given, poor families, etc. It is everywhere. I found it is not so acute in Western families. The local white population, it is not so acute. I don't know much about blacks because I have not come across. So that is a good quality in the society here. And I have seen some of the Indians, rather well-to-do people, adopt this model which is local. They nicely adopt. And they treat the children just like it is done in the local society, in the local culture. This is a good point to learn. From the local consciousness, we can learn that. Not local consciousness, from the local culture, we can learn that. But then the problem is there, how to overcome it. Now, having examined the problem, let us come to a possible solution. So, number one is acknowledging it without denying it. Don't allow denial to come into the picture. Oh no, we are not like that. No, don't deny. If it is there, it is there. You have to acknowledge. This applies not only family people, it applies to Swamis also. Because the Swamis also, what we notice is, they take to sannyasa and continue to remain attached to the family members. You see that. It is not a condemnation of the Swamis. It is only acknowledgement of the severity of the situation, the severity of that quality called attachment. It is not a condemnation. The Swamis are associated with the family. For example, one big matha will be there and the head of the matha, a big Swami, Jagat Guru, etc. But his brother is responsible for the maintenance of the whole matha. So in a way it is an extended family. Parents will be there, but extended family. The matha or the ashram becomes extended family. Swamis also keep close ties with the family. And there is a conflict of interest, open, very visible conflict of interest also you can see. There is, you see, if there is conflict of interest in an economic situation, it is punishable by law. Whereas in here there is no punishment, nothing. It is all open. You see a lot of conflict of interest. This I am saying that nobody is be above this. That is the point I am saying. And if that is the case with the Swamis who came to sannyasa from brahmacharya, as brahmacharis they came to sannyasis, even they have attachment to the family members. What to speak of grahasthas who have taken to sannyasa? What to speak of it? Some of the glorious examples come before us, like Swami Ramatirtha, Swami Akhandanandaji Maharaj. When they walked out of the family, they remained utterly unattached. And very shining examples of non-attachment. Therefore, this attachment to the family members is a very tough nut to crack. Therefore, you feel good about it, okay? There is nothing to feel bad about it. Feel good about it. Now, how to overcome? It is not, I don't have any mantra or magic wand about it. I am only examining the situation together with you because I got many questions and many issues like that before me in the last 2-3 days. I am only trying to be of some help if possible, in my own small way. In my own humble way, I am trying to be of any help. So, the way to overcome the attachment is, as I already told, I repeat, acknowledgement without denying. Denial doesn't help. First acknowledge it. It applies even to Swamis. Yes, I am attached. No, I am a Swami, how can I be attached? No, I am not attached. That is denial. That is not helpful. Acknowledge it. You need not tell other people to acknowledge in your own heart what is the problem. So that honesty must be there. That honesty must be there. Number one. Family people openly acknowledge it. There is no issue because they write a question also, openly acknowledge it. They are better. A Swami may not be able to openly acknowledge, but a family person openly acknowledges. But so we should acknowledge it in our heart. Second, do not condemn yourself about it. If the moment you say, oh, all my Vedanta study proves to be of no value, I did not make any progress, my study of Vedanta all these years came to a naught, don't say all that. You don't know. Your study of Vedanta never goes waste. The message of redemption, emancipation, once it is planted in your heart, it will be there like a seed and it will grow. It will never vanish. You are not the same person as you were before the study of Vedanta. Therefore, no self-condemnation. That is the second point. Then comes the critical point, third point. This can come only after the first two, not before. The third point is, look at yourself and visualize a situation. I am saying it in first person. Suppose I do not possess anything. You start with physical things because we are attached to physical things also. So the same topic covers physical objects also. Okay. So I am attached to the physical objects. You can examine your attachment. Certainly people are attached to their car in this country. And the ladies could be attached to their costly jewelry. and sometimes costly dresses. That's why you are not supposed to have very costly things. Because the higher the cost, the more the attachment. If you suppose you wear some simple cotton dress of a nondescript cotton dress you wear, you will not be attached to that. Even if it is torn, you throw it and put one more. So, like that, if you want to purchase a shirt, instead of purchasing one costly shirt, you purchase a dozen cheap shirts so that you can wear for the coming 10 years. So, like that. People should do that. And car also, they should not have some of these costly cars because they cause a lot of heartburn. Like a Mercedes Benz, is that a costly car? Maybe, yeah. So, or even some of the sports cars, a Ferrari, this and that. Don't go for all such crazy things. Have some simple car so that you are not attached to it. But suppose you have attachment to the car also for whatever reason, then you put that also into account. Now we are coming to that also. Similarly, other things which I already mentioned. Then home, attachment to home. So there also people are attached to the home. You can see that they put a lot of religion into it. Our religion is inspired by desires and fears, lot of it. Very little of it is nothing to do with desires and fears. Lot of it, like Vastu Puja, Vastu Purusha, Vastu Homa, all of that is due to attachment to the home. And then puja room inside the home. That is because of your attachment to the home. So you should have puja room in your heart. So instead of that, that is not there. Here all samsara is there. Therefore you create a room for God separately in the home and put the God there. So wahan pade raho, God, so that we can entertain all samsara here. That is all very worldly thing it is. And therefore it has become a fashion also. Therefore home with all its trappings, people are attached to it. You consider that also. So you tell yourself, I am attached to all these physical things. Suppose, you have to really suppose I own nothing. Suppose I do not own a car, I do not own a home, I do not own any costly clothes or costly jewelry, I do not own any big amount in any bank balance also I do not own. The bank balance also I do not own. I do not own any of these things. I am a nobody. I am a nondescript guy, a nobody. Suppose. You don't say beggar. That is different. This is nobody only, not beggar. Suppose I am a nobody. Number one. Two, suppose I don't have father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter. I don't have any relative to be mentioned. I am a loner. I am single and I don't have anybody. How do I feel now? Do I feel insecure? Without any possessions and without anybody to relate to, without anybody whom I can call a relative, related person, and without any possessions, I am just standing under the sky, a loner and a pauper, not owning anything, suppose. Now, I feel insecure, certainly. Without owning anything, naturally I feel insecure. Without being related to anybody, son, daughter, father, mother, brother, sister, etc., an utterly lonely person, I feel insecure. And now I examine that insecurity. What is this insecurity? I watch that insecurity. I don't condemn that insecurity, but I watch it. Yes, I'm insecure without these things. A home and other things and family members, etc., they give me a sense of security. I'm deriving security from all of that. Physical security, emotional security, I'm deriving from all of that. Now I'm without any of that. And therefore, that is how I am insecure. I'm aware of that insecurity. This is the third. Okay? You got it? You are aware of that insecurity. There is insecurity. And you are aware of it. You don't deny it, don't condemn it. Don't justify it. You are aware of that. You make this contemplation. This is the contemplation. And see whether that insecurity transforms into security. You see, you watch that insecurity. And I assure you, when you watch it, it is not about repetition. You have patience with that contemplation and you continue with that contemplation. It is not about repetition. Daily morning you do it or evening you do it like mantra japa. No. You pursue this contemplation. 1, 2, 3 I told. Pursue this contemplation. Examine that insecurity. And stay with that insecurity. Watch that insecurity. You stay with that insecurity. And surely it will undergo a metamorphosis. The insecurity will turn into security. Once you become secure that way, all attachment is gone. Because through attachment, you are deriving security. That seeking of security appears as attachment, and that attachment parades as a love. This is what is happening in our lives. And you have to address it this way. Then the attachment will be reduced and it will be more meaningful. And then it will be replaced by love. And then what needs to be done, don't worry about that. Suppose I am not attached, what will happen to them? Nothing will happen. They will be living their life. And you will be doing what needs to be done from your side to them anyway. Nothing stops outwardly, nothing changes. Only you will be acting out of love instead of attachment. And that will not become a psychological burden to you. It gives you an enormous freedom. And without attachment, with a lot of love, you will be doing better service than what you were doing earlier. So please try this. Now we will pursue this verse. In that verse, śuktikārajataṃ. Do you find them as separate words? So if that is how you find, you have to make a note that it is a samasa. śuktikārajataṃ is a samasa. Small grammar point. Okay. So śuktikārajataṃ yathā. That is the example. Shankara's example. Shankara has two examples. One is rope serpent. You see a serpent in the rope. Why do you do that? Because you are insecure. You are insecure. That's why you see a serpent in the rope. Why don't you see a garland in the rope? You don't see a garland in the rope. You only see a serpent in the rope. There are so many other possibilities, but they don't happen. Only serpent happens because we are insecure. Now, there is another Brahma. This is the illusion. The first illusion, the Rajju Sarpa illusion, is because of insecurity and fear. The second illusion is śuktikārajataṃ. Śuktikāyāṃ rajatam. That is the samasa, saptami purusha. So there you have a shell. You know shell? If you go to the beach, you find many shells. These shells, they are shining white. When the sunlight falls on them, they shine like silver. Rajatam is silver. So what you see is a piece of shell, shuktika, but you assume it to be silver. And this person is walking on the beach, he sees the silver there. Immediately, he puts his foot on that so that other people won't see it. Okay? And then looks around. It is underneath his feet, the silver. Now he is looking around. Conveniently, there is nobody around. Or if somebody is there, he will be looking at the ocean, etc. And that somebody passes, then he notices that he is more or less alone. Then he bends and pulls out that silver, maybe together with some sand, and puts in his pocket. Okay? And then takes home and gives to his wife. I found some silver. And she takes it, very good. Silver is very valuable metal. She takes it and puts in the safe. And after a week, they were thinking that they had some good silver with them. They take it to the goldsmith, and he sees it and throws on his face. This is not silver, this is a piece of shell. Please don't waste my time, please get out. So he will ask you to get out. So this is the story, okay? So why you see silver on a piece of shell? Because you are greedy, okay? So the desire and fear, the desire which is greed, gives rise to the illusion of silver on the shell. Whereas the fear or the insecurity, so it is, it leads to the illusion of serpent on the rope. These are the two illusions, Shankara's standard illusions, and they are very well taken because they represent the human nature very perfectly. So people see śuktikārajataṃ rajatam yathā. So I said all that 1 week keeping in store, in safe and taking to the goldsmith, etc. I said because all that period of 1 week or 10 days, they were assuming it was silver. Tāvatsatyaṃ jagadbhāti. So all that period of 1 week, it was śuktikārajataṃ yathā. It was silver. Okay? It is not silver. It is just a shell. Only in a fraction of a second, when they put it before the goldsmith and he throws it aside, that silver is gone. Therefore, the silver illusion, it persists and it continues for a certain length of time. It is in the flow of time, the silver illusion, but the ending of the illusion is nothing to do with time. It is timeless. It happens instantly. Knowledge is like that. Illusion, which is samsara, it continues on and on and on. To a full lifetime it continues. And if the knowledge doesn't happen, then the soul takes up another body and it will go into next birth also. It is not going to end. Death cannot end the ajnana. Death is only a comma. It is not full stop. So the ajnana will continue into another birth. The ignorance and the illusion. Only knowledge will end. People think that death will end a few things. That's why there are suicides. Why suicide? Because the person believes that death will end the suffering. Death will not end. It is only a comma in the suffering. And he takes another body and the suffering continues. Therefore, suicide is not a wise thing to do. Because death doesn't end anything. Death doesn't end illusion also. Some of the Nastikas, etc., believe that all this attachment and all this suffering, etc., will come to an end with death. No, it doesn't end. It is only a comma, not a full stop. Therefore, the illusion continues into the next life. Then how to end the illusion that the samsara is real? That is the illusion. How to end it? Only jnanam. Jnanam. So here the jnanam has two aspects to it. One is the negative aspect, that it is not silver. That is one negative aspect of the jnana. That is jnanam. It is not silver. That is the jnanam. And that is the negative aspect. Oh, it is not silver, then what is it? I was so confused all these days. What is it? It is a shell. That is the positive aspect. Okay? Generally, in the illusion part, the positive aspect is not that important. But it is there. We are mentioning it all the time. We are saying Rajju, Rajju, Rajju. We are saying the positive aspect also. The negative is more important, but the positive is always mentioned. Now come to this Jagat. This Jagat appears real for us. This is our problem. The Jagat appears real. How long? Tāvat, so long. So, the Jagat appears real. You see, people think it is real. I give you an example. You see, a person said, I am in love with somebody. He said, I am in love with somebody. And then the love appears very real, appeared very real. And then the love is all powerful and everlasting. These expressions, you know, in the movies, in the theaters, you hear these expressions, right? So the love is all powerful and everlasting. You have seen the movie Titanic? In that, the love of that lady to this young man, it is all powerful and it is everlasting. That is how he shows, you know. That is how the love appears. That is how the story goes. I am not questioning the cinema Titanic or the love Titanic. But my point is, love appears that powerful, all powerful and everlasting. But it comes to an end. They go to a lawyer's office and it comes to an end. Okay? This is between man and woman. Father and son also it comes to an end. Right? And mother and son also comes to an end. We have discussed so much about mother's attachment to the son. It is only till he gets married. Then it will undergo a different phase. It enters into a different phase. It is never the same. Therefore, the love which appeared so real, so powerful, so everlasting, comes to an end. And when it comes to an end, what do you say? I thought it was real, but it was not. That is what you say, right? That is, in fact, the man says to the woman, I thought I loved you, but I was wrong. I never loved you. That is what he says to her. And she retorts, the same thing with me also. Right? You see that. And mother says to the son also same way. Between mother and son also it is the same. Between father and son, of course, it is the same. So it appeared real, but it was not real. You come to realize that. Therefore, it is unreal. You admit yourself that it is unreal. So, why it is unreal? Why it is unreal? It appeared real, you know. For years together it appeared real. For a few years, or at least a few months, it appeared real. Now suddenly you say unreal. Why? Only one reason, that it is transient. The transiency is the proof of unreality. Okay? The transiency. You see, you cannot prove the real, because the real is timeless. And therefore, using the yardstick of time, you cannot prove whether it is real or not. But certainly you can prove the unreal. because the unreal is transient. You can see that. If it is timeless, you cannot use the same way of seeing it. You have to see it in a different way. Oh, it is timeless, and therefore it is real. You have to see it a different way. But unreal you can clearly see. The Rajatam is unreal. You can clearly see that. Because the Rajatam was transient. It appeared to be real for a length of time. For a given length of time. And then it proved to be wrong. That is called transiency. The transiency is the best proof of unreality. Okay? Therefore, we can say what is limited in time? What is limited in time? And you can add a space also. What is limited in space? Okay? And one more thing also we can add. I feel a bit hesitant to say it, but if I have to put that sentimentality aside and say it, what appears focused to one person means I am attached to that person, means I love that person. That is how it is focused to one person. Therefore, whatever is limited in time, whatever is limited in space, and whatever is focused towards one person or one thing, okay, all of that is unreal. All of that is unreal. Therefore, so when you believe that you love your car, of all things I love my car the most, that is unreal. That love is unreal. And I loved for 3-4 years, transiency, that love is unreal. And I love the things in the office. I hate home, but I love office. Or I hate office, I love home. The space kind of limitation, that is transient. So this transiency is the best proof of unreality, because the real is for all and forever. Suppose a Mahatma says, I love all. That is real. I mean, if he is fudging it or if he is faking it, I'm not saying that. But the Mahatma says, I love all. That is real. He comes to a new place and sees people and loves them all. That is real. That alone is real. And that which is timeless is real. Now apply these principles to Jagat. Jagat doesn't mean the Africa continent, Australia continent, or the moon, or the Jupiter, or the galaxy. That is not the Jagat. You are not living in that Jagat, you know. I am talking about your Jagat. Okay? The world in which people live is indeed a small world. Okay? Suppose I ask you, you tell me your world. You tell me your world. You start telling your world. Okay? Shall I tell you one thing? That world, which is your world, is entirely subjective. It is not objective. It is subjective. Means it is a projection of your mind. And it is a very small world. And the world description that you give has your signature on it. That is the world in which people live. You see, there was a king's barber. This is the king's barber story. Please keep it in mind. I have said it earlier, but some of you may not be knowing. King's barber story. The king's barber, he goes to the king. King bends his head only before one person, and that is the barber. Okay, he bends his head or whatever. So the barber shaves and all that. So, and the king talks with the barber because he becomes friendly. The same barber will come. The message is sent and he will come and he will wait. And when the king is ready, he will do the barber job. And when the king is satisfied, he will show the mirror also. The king sees his face in the mirror and he becomes happy. And therefore, there is a natural friendliness with the barber. And therefore, he talks nice things with the barber. And also, he is not distracted by anything else. And so, while barber is shaving, he asks the barber, "Hey, how are you?" The name of the barber is Murari. That is also there. "Hey, Murari, how are things going on?" Then Murari said, "Things are going very well, sir. The economic situation is in a very good shape under your great rule. And everyone has as much gold as the size of a egg." That is what he told. That is what Murari told. Everyone has gold as much as the size of an egg. That much gold everyone has. Oh, very good. That means the society is going through a very rich phase and all people have gold as much as an egg. And so the king was very happy. And then the barber, he has a box, with the two drawers also, two shelves, small box. And he has that gold he owns that gold. And that is his wealth. And he keeps it always with him. He doesn't want his wife to take away and do something or something. That is his wealth. So he puts it in his box. And some young man, a very clever guy, he noticed that. And he stole that gold he has stolen. And the barber's heart was broken. Anyway, next day morning, the message came from the king. The king wants you to come. He has to go, otherwise his head will go. Earlier, heart only was broken. But now if he doesn't oblige the king, his head will go. So he went to the king and he was doing the shaving and all that. The king looked at him and felt that there is something amiss and asked him, "Hey, Murari, how is the world going on?" Murari told, "Sir, the world is in a very bad shape. The economy is going down and down. Now nobody has gold even this size." That is what he told. This is the story, okay? This is the story. Therefore, the world description that you give has a signature on it. Suppose you ask me, how is the world? Oh, the world is very good because nice food is being served and people are very helpful and hospitality is there and the world is doing extremely good in spite of some cold and chilly wind. What kind of a world it is? This is entirely subjective. This subjective world in which you are living, it appears real to you. And it is no different from śuktikārajataṃ, the silver that is imagined in a shell. So, you see, how come the unreal appeared real? Real should appear unreal. Unreal doesn't make an effort to appear real, right? Unreal remains what it is. The shell. The shell doesn't make an effort to appear as silver. It is shell only. And as far as silver is concerned, it is not, it is unreal. There is no effort from the unreal side to make it look real. Why it looks real? Because you, in your ignorance, impart reality to the unreal. It is your greed that makes you see the silver real. And it is your fear that makes you see the rope a serpent. Therefore, In your ignorance, you are imparting reality to the unreal. You have to examine your head. That is all you have to do. Because that is how the unreal is appearing real. The world that you live in, you live in the world. This world, you create this world out of your memories. You create this world. You have to understand. Otherwise, what happens, as long as you say, this world God has created, you say that way. Suppose you started a project, an obstacle has come. Now what you say? God has created the obstacle. And therefore you worship the God of obstacles. Okay? And then the finance is less. There is no finance. And the project is some startup company, finance is evaporating and a new finance is not coming. And it requires urgently new finance to take the startup forward. And venture capitalists are not obliging. So now what you do? God has created this deficiency of wealth or finance, and therefore you worship the God of wealth. And the student is not getting enough marks. Therefore parents encourage him, and parents also join. They worship the God of knowledge. So some enemy is coming in your way. Therefore they worship the God of retribution. And therefore all these things are happening. This is how the religion of the masses follows. It is all happening that way because you believe that the world in which you live is created by God. It is not Ishvara Srishti. It is Jiva Srishti. The world in which you live, you create it. You have to know it. Until you know that fact, the world appears real. Tāvatsatyaṃ jagadbhāti. The day you realize that I am creating all this conflict, there is conflict in your world, you realize I am creating this conflict. Okay? So there is a fear in the world in which I live. I am creating this fear. There are desires. I am creating these desires. Desires means a sense of inadequacy, a dissatisfaction. In my world there is a lot of dissatisfaction. I am creating it. The day you realize that you are creating, then it becomes very easy to see the unreal as unreal. It is something like, oh, I created this silver out of my greed. Otherwise, suppose it is shining white. Why should I look at it as silver? I can just leave it. I may not know it as shell. I may just take it as some silly thing shining very brightly. You can leave it like that. So, what you did not leave it like that. You created silver there out of your own greed. So, therefore, as long as you are ignorant of yourself as the creator, okay, your world will remain limited and repetitive. The same world. Next day morning again the same world will come back. Because you are creating it. If God is creating, He may change it. But you are creating it. Suppose a star is dead and a new star is born. That is God, not you. Okay? But it is not repetitive. Whereas here, the same world is repeating again and again, day after day. Who is creating that world? The same world, God keeps an account and takes photographs and keeps it, and next day creates the same world for you. You are creating it. That's why it is repetitive. So, you see, you can create. Presently you are creating a world of disharmony and grief or unhappiness. And once you know that it is you who is creating all this disharmony and this grief, etc., Once you realize that, then so what happens is, you are creating from where all this? From the mind. Mind's projection it is. You are projecting this world from the mind. And what is the mind? Mind is its content. And mind is memory. Mind is memory. There is no other mind. Mind means memory. And therefore, you are creating this world from the mind, from its the content of the mind, means from the memory, means from the past. You are creating the world. Why are you creating this world from the past, from the memory, and assuming it to be real? Why are you doing it? Because you are identified with the past. You are a product of the past yourself. Do you understand what I am saying? Because if you dismiss the past, you are dismissing yourself as a person. You are no more the person that you believe yourself to be. Because the person that you assume yourself to be is a product of the past. And the world in which you, the person, live, is also a product of the past. Therefore, you create a personality for you from the past, and you create a world for that personality to live in from the memory of the past. So this deep-seated identification with the past makes you create a world from memory, a repetitive world, which world reflects all the content of your mind, namely the desires the world reflects, because you have created it from your mind which is full of desires. And the world reflects the fears because the source has so many fears. Greed because the source has greed. This is how it is happening. Therefore, the example it looks very simplistic. It is not so. It is neither simplistic nor even simple. It is very profound. śuktikārajataṃ yathā. While walking, you created silver from your greed, which is coming from the past. You knew silver. You knew the value of the silver, and you have a greed for it. That is all the past. From that, you are identified with that past. And out of self-identification with that past, and out of that past, you created silver there. You are doing the same thing with the world also. Same thing. Therefore, all depends upon you. The world exists only by your consent, because you are the creator. As I told yesterday, once you withdraw your belief in the reality of the world, it will dissolve like a dream, because it is nothing more than a dream. So, you see, there are issues here. I try to push it, but people push back. I push and again they push back. I experience this. You see, as long as you believe that you are in the world, you remain in ignorance. You are not in the world. The world is in you. You are sleeping. Where is the world? It is not there. And the moment you open your eyes, you wake up, the world has sprung up. Where from it has come? It came from you. Therefore, the world is in you. It comes out of you. It appears real because you give reality to it. You are not in the world. The world is in you. So, where is the rajata? The silver, where is it? It is in you. It is not outside. It is in you. The world is in you. and you project the silver, same way you project the world from out of you. Therefore, as long as you believe, this is the belief. That's why when they ask questions about transmigration of the soul and all that, I have a small difficulty in explaining it, because I push the answer and they push back. So as long as you believe that there is a world created by God, and you come into that world and you go out of the world, okay, so long you will remain ignorant of your true self. The day you know that the world in which you live is the world that you are projecting every day, like a gossamer web, gossamer spider. It puts out a web in the morning and takes back the web into itself in the night. Similarly, you wake up and put out a world out of yourself, and you live in that world like that gossamer spider moves in that web. You live in that world, and in the night again, you take that world back into yourself. That is what is happening. And once you realize this, and you are the creator, that is what is the meaning of Tattvamasi. That day, there is a tremendous transformation in you. Now, you will not create an unhappy, because you are the creator. You will not create an unhappy world. You are now a wise person you are. And therefore, you will create a happy world, a world of harmony. That is what you create. Therefore, Tāvatsatyaṃ jagadbhāti śuktikārajataṃ yathā. So, and one more thing I tell you. This I said yesterday. I am just repeating as part of the same. This topic is also like continuation of yesterday's topic only. So the world appears to you so real, so overwhelmingly real, because you think of the world all the time. I give you an example and hope you pick up the correct example. You see, I know anybody who is sitting here, they don't even know a word called securities. That, what is that? Stock world. It's a world by itself. It's a world. And there are channels which are exclusively devoted to that world. Right? And if you put that channel, maybe CNBC or whatever, you find only that, the stock, everything stock only. That is a world. And there are people who live entire life in that world. Whereas for us, that world doesn't even exist. You don't think so? It doesn't exist at all, right? Why it doesn't exist? Because we do not even think of it. That's why it doesn't exist. And if somebody comes and tells, sir, this stock world is a virtual world, you will nod your head forcibly, yes. Because that sounds very real to you, the statement. Because it is no difficulty to understand that it is not real. You see, I had this question. They said when 9/11 happened, within 24 hours, $1 trillion wealth has evaporated. That is what papers reported. Everybody lost. The cumulative loss is of $1 trillion lost. Okay? Then I asked, where did all this money go? Because if 6 people are playing cards, one of them gains, means the other people have lost. That's why he gained. If you go to a casino, they will be gaining money because you are losing it. So, if you are losing, somebody else should gain. Now, 9/11, $1 trillion money is lost. Trillion dollars is lost. Where did it go? Who gained it? Nobody gained it. Like yesterday, when Elon Musk has dismissed half of the Twitter people, there was one Twitter thing came, and Eli Lilly lost $1.5 billion. Okay? So they lost 1.5 billion. Okay, they will recuperate it. God bless them. But who gained that 1.5 billion? Who gained? Nobody gained. Therefore, when the money is gained, nobody lost. And when the money is lost, nobody gained. What kind of money it is? It is called virtual money. I did not get an answer to that question till now. Therefore, for me, it is not difficult at all to understand that the stock world is unreal. Do you have any difficulty there? So you all agree that the stock world is unreal? Why it so readily you could agree? Because you do not even think of it. But your world appears very real because you are constantly thinking of it. Therefore, take out some of that thinking from the world. Don't think so much about the world. And don't get absorbed in that worldly affairs so much. You withdraw and you abide in yourself. So then should we think of what? You need not think all the time. You reduce the volume of thinking. It is not that you take away thinking from there and put elsewhere. Not like that. Reduce the volume of thinking. And thereby you abide in yourself. Then when you abide in yourself, the world appears unreal. It becomes, yes, I get it. It is unreal. You will say that. We will discuss it further. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.